Well, just a little away from politics, the National Drought Management Authority's latest report bodes ill for many parts of the country as the drought situation continues to worsen in 20 of the 23 ASAL counties. The number of people in need of food assistance is projected to rise to 4.35 million by October. And as Leila Mohammed reports, this situation also places more than 465,000 children under the age of 5 at risk of malnutrition in northern Kenya.
As temperatures continue to soar in certain parts of the country, the Earth's crust remains dry, offering no hope for the millions of Kenyans living in the drylands. Livestock deaths is now the norm as residents fight to survive the 4th consecutive season without rain.
This time the long rain which you expect in March, starting in March 15 somewhere there usually, and it goes up to June, it has failed. And there were so animal deaths, especially cows, even goat and even some camel. People lost a lot of livestock.
Kwa mfano nikukupatia kuna mtu akona ng'ombe 20. Saa hii akona moja wengine. Moja akona moja tu peke yake. Kwa hivyo hali ya ng'ombe saa hii mtu ako highest akona ng'ombe 5.
This is Ambaro village situated 180 kilometers from Sololo in the vast Marsabit County, Kenya's largest county in size and one whose population continues to face life-threatening situations due to extreme weather conditions that haven't changed over the last few years.
Pande ya maji, sisi tunashotanga maji hapo Nurdistan, 15 kilomita kutoka hapo. Kwa hivyo hali ya kiangazi ni mbaya sana, Watu wamepata shida sana, ng'ombe zimekufa, watoto walikuwa wamekonda sana juu hakuna chakula.
Marsabit is under the radar of key government agencies like the NDMA, whose latest report is expected to give the newly elected government much to think about as drought continues to ravage.
As you know, people depend on that livelihood, as livestock as a livelihood, and especially the young children under 5 depend on milk and the sales of the livestock, whether they meat or whether they sell the livestock themselves. The situation was not good. People are so much affected.
For months now, dust storms have become a common feature in many parts of the country's north, as hundreds of camels move along in an exodus, seeking pasture and water, precious commodities for their survival.
Walikuwa na maji yako mbali sana, kilomita 25, hata mfigo walienda kunya mbali, wazee walihama huku na sisi wamefuata wazee.
According to the weatherman, drought conditions have persisted in ASAL counties following failed multiple successive rain seasons. Parts of some counties including Garissa, Wajir, Marsabit, Isiolo and Mandera have had at least 3 failed rain seasons in the last few years.
And this had a lot of effect bearing on the lifestyle of this community because our people depend on pastoralism as their sole source of livelihood. So due to this prolonged season of drought, these livestock have died in large numbers, and the sole source of these people is being wiped out by the drought.
Galgalo's family has lost 70 of their animals to the drought.
Kila mwaka ana ukame, hatuna maji, tuna chakula, na mifugo yote walikufa. Sijafanya na mtihani ya KCP, ulikuwa na sababu ya ukame.
Animals are dying, they have no water, they have no pasture, and they are really suffering. And there is even no enough relief food that is being distributed either by the national government or the county government.
Tume Dulo lays in bed, partly due to her illness that has weakened her, but also due to a loss that she says has robbed her family of its livelihood. As the breadwinner of her family, the loss of 50 cows to drought has brought her physical and emotional pain due to stress. She depends on family members to move her every so often to avoid muscle pain. She says she isn't sure which pain to treat first, the physical pain in her body or that weighing on her mind.
From their speech, we have heard that There are people who are even unable to wake up from their beds just because they have no water. And you know that water is life.
Families are being displaced from their original villages, original place, because of the effect of this drought. Families, some parents have decided to move away with their livestock to a better place where they can find water.
According to the NDMA, the fast shrinking vegetation cover is forcing families to travel extremely long distances in search of water and pasture. Neighboring county of Isiolo is stacked with 2 other counties in the red with extreme vegetation deficit. Another county in the neighborhood, Samburu, is among 11 counties in the yellow, facing moderate and mild vegetation deficit. And as the animals grow thin and die, concern is growing on the impact this drought has on children, especially those under the age of 5.
Ng'ombe moja ambayo inapatikana hama huko upande ya Sololo sababu ya jilali. Kwa hivyo sisi zamani watoto wetu wanapata maziwa. Hapa ni nini? So unaona kijiji hapa sio town. Watu wanaishi kitu ya ngoma mahali. Lakini watoto wamepata shida sababu ya hawapati maziwa. Hapa hakuna kitu kingine watoto wanapata.
So far, nearly 500,000 children in northern Kenya suffer from malnutrition, with the government saying it is the immediate cause of concern.
We use all our parameters, all our anthropometric measurement tools were used. That was weight, height, and work. We use all our parameters as anthropometric assessment, and we found that in again areas like Nana, Yabalo, Dabel, DF, and Somare, again still they were in emergency. The situation in terms of malnutrition is not good.
Learning has also been affected.
The peoples which are in these schools are looking after their animals. They drive their animals for long distances to look for water for their livelihood.
Shamba jana jioni, shamba futika.
And when the school meals programs are provided in these schools, we experience a larger people's turnout because of the availability of food in the school. And when there is no meals, imagine the peoples, they don't turn out, they are truant, they don't come to school. And to some extent, if the school meals are available here in the schools, we have some villagers. When they at lunchtime they come and ask for food.
Poor rains along with climate change have been termed as the key players in the crisis. In the north, as data shows that temperatures in northern Kenya have risen by 0.34 degrees Celsius per decade from 1985 to 2015. This is expected to rise further in the next 5 decades, making life unbearable. The NDMA report quotes the latest figures from the Met Department that show Marsabit is among counties identified as being in alarm state, with poor rainfall continuing to be recorded there. NDMA proposes provision of food assistance and scaling up of cash transfers targeting households which are currently food insecure as a result of the prevailing drought stress. Leila Mohammed, NTV.